So the next thing is that you have to really know your user. You have to know, why is my user coming to my mobile site? You know, when you're sitting at a computer, you've got a lot of time and you've got a lot of motivation to come to a web page. But for somebody to take their cell phone out of their pocket and to come to your web page, they really are trying to accomplish something. So you want to, when you're making your migration to a mobile website, you really want to understand, what is it that my user wants from my mobile website? And that will kind of give you an idea of what's really essential to have as high level of usability and what you can kind of push under the rug. So for example, a very popular use is the geolocation. Cell phones pretty much come standard with GPS devices nowadays. And especially with the powerful ability of the Google Maps JavaScript API, which is supported by all of the mobile browsers, it's really easy to implement GPS awareness and maps and directions, driving directions, all of these rich features in your mobile website. So it's definitely something that if you haven't already taken a look at, you should take a look at it. Okay, another thing, and this is, I know that myself and my employees find that most of the time when we're browsing with our mobile device is because we're bored. I'm sure that you've been in that situation where you're waiting for a bus or maybe in line at one of the municipalities, and so you just take your phone out and you just see what's going on Twitter or what's going on, maybe on JPost, something like that. And so it's nice. What I find is that constant small amounts of updates can become really addictive on a mobile platform. You can really get your user in the habit of checking your site, your mobile site, multiple times a day in all of their downtime. So the next thing to keep in mind along with that is our users' addictivity, maybe that's the word, our addictive nature towards social media. So there's a lot of great SDKs and APIs that are available. In this slide, we're taking a look at, this is the native iPhone's SDK. So this is actually for Xcode, but also on the next slide you can see that now third parties have come out. On the next, third parties have come out with a very robust way to add a mobile-friendly share button. So one that I prefer is called Add This. You may be familiar with the desktop version of this. It's only a few snippets of code. It's got great analytics, and it caters very well to a mobile device. It supports a whole range of mobile platforms and mobile browsers, and works nicely on touchscreens. Okay, next thing to keep in mind is bandwidth. That when you're dealing with a desktop environment, you really aren't restricted nowadays with broadband being pretty much standard. You're not restricted at all by the internet speed. When it comes to a mobile device, people start considering how many gigabytes a month that they're purchasing, and even just when they're browsing a website, how fast is this website going to load? When you do create a mobile version of your website, it's essential that you actually give it real-world testing on both Wi-Fi and 3G. We actually found a cute video that explains some of the difference to it. I don't know if we can make it loud enough.
We've got a 4:30 presentation. We are the 4:30 presentation.
She doesn't. She's a big file. She needs time to buffer.
Why does that network so fast?
It's optimum Wi-Fi. It's twice as fast as 3G and free.
Where are you going?
I gotta go embarrass myself on Facebook.
So we're not affiliated with them at all, but it was a cute video, so I figured we would just stick it in the presentation. Okay, so now comes the second part of the lecture, which is really what are things that you can do, what various different options do you have as WordPress administrators in order to making your website mobile friendly. So, if we take a look at our site, appstudio.co.al, you can see that on the left you have the way that our site looks on a traditional browser, and you have the right how it looks like on the iPhone. So now you could say to yourself, oh, well, I looked at my site and it looks fine. I don't really need to put any effort into migrating it over to a mobile platform. But the main thing to consider is that real estate is so much more valuable when you have such a smaller screen. Things, for example, like the sidebar have no place on a mobile platform because most of the time your users are not going to need the use of the sidebar, and you can't justify the fact that it's going to take up that real estate all the time. The other thing to keep in mind is that if you're using the exact same images on your traditional website as onto your mobile website, even though they're going to appear smaller, your users are downloading those full images, and that's going to make it load slower and is going to take more bandwidth from them. Okay, so now there are a couple different options. So this is actually using a plugin that I'll speak about in 1 second. And you can see that here we've taken, it's not the same page, but you get the idea. You've taken all of the text, you've made it much easier to read. You've taken a search, you put it over there, and then if you could slide up to the next slide. You have the sidebar converted to a much more native and convenient drop-down menu. And so all of this stuff is very simple to implement. You just have to be aware of it. Next slide. Okay, so here's some WordPress solutions. This is what you're all here for. Okay, plugins and themes. Okay, first one that I want to talk about is WP Touch. Okay, so WP Touch is a very popular WordPress plugin. It takes about 5 minutes to set up the default installation. It's very easy, but pretty much all the ones that we're going to speak about are very easy to continue your branding, which is also something that's very essential. You want them to know when they're on your mobile website that they're still on your website. They're not just looking at some, generic conversion. So some of the pros of this is that it shows content beautifully. It is a wonderful drop-down menu. It's compatible with the iPhone, Android, Palm, BlackBerry, and it has growing support for Symbian, Nokia. Okay, it has both a free and a pro version, and the pro version also supports web apps. I'll speak more about web apps in a little bit. So it comes with the built-in WordPress features such as search, login, categories, etc. It also supports easy ad integration. So a lot of money can be made off of mobile ads, especially if that's your business model. And so it's essential that when you convert to a mobile platform, that you aren't missing out on all of those ads. It has easy thumbnail insertion, meaning that once you install this, from the administrator side of your WordPress login, you can drag and drop images and they will automatically be pre-processed as thumbnails so that you don't have to worry about all the things I previously mentioned. So it also supports jQuery. It resizes images automatically, which is not the same thing as the thumbnail, but it'll always make the images look nice. It has a custom loading screen that you can decide so that while your web page is buffering, they'll get some kind of splash screen, which is native to a lot of these mobile devices. And you have the ability to disable the navigation bar, which can steal a lot of the valuable real estate. So the downsides to this is that the free one only supports one theme. That the Pro is somewhat expensive. You can the prices are somewhat changing, so you'll have to see for yourself exactly how much it costs. Sometimes they have deals and stuff in packages, without getting the Pro, it's very limited in the amount of customization. So it also supports WordPress 2.8 and higher. All right, the next one.
How does it look on Android?
How does it look on Android?
Yeah.
So I don't have it. It looks all right. I've only seen it on Android.
It's the same interface.
It's a little bit more Android native. Like here, we're using something that, if you go back, we're using something that specifically looks similar to the iPhone, but they do have themes that match for each of the different browsers.
I'm using that. I never saw it on Android. So how does it look like that?
So
if I don't change the default theme.
Oh, so then the default theme, especially just the free theme, is going to be pretty uniform. But they do offer options for device awareness that you can have it actually be multiple installations.
But that's in the Pro?
Yeah, that's in the Pro version. Okay, so we can go and we can look at some of the things of the Pro version. Most of this stuff I already talked on. If you want to actually read this, you can either go to the website down here, which is bravenewcode.com/products/WP Touch-Pro, and see some of the more robust features.